Hello lovely people, my name is Emma, welcome back to my pillow fort. If you didn't catch it, last video I built this pillow fort to just kind of hang out in. Just sort of realised that I could, so I've got snacks in here, I've got my adorable new little buddy. I literally just recorded that video, so Buddy still doesn't have a name yet. I need the comments from the previous video to help me name them. And yeah, we did a little catch up in here, and I kind of thought this would be the perfect spot to do a little book chat. So, first thing, the sad thing, as explained by this very sad final note. Okay, so, we're talking about How Novel. This was one of my favourite kind of, I've jumped in and out of different subscription services. I've got like, I get my glossy box, which is sort of the beauty makeup mixed box that I really like. And otherwise I've tried little bits and bobs. I liked Spooky Box Club a bit, you know, I've liked different pieces here and there. I've tried other book ones as well, and I've enjoyed them, but nothing amazing. How Novel I have loved since I started it, and I had a rolling subscription and I got one mystery novel every month, so you would kind of pick, so they're all done like this. I'm going to sell it to you just to tell you that they shut down, so in case you're going to be disappointed in a minute, that is the theme. But so they would do like little covers like this, so you can see that this is like funny, maths, Cambridge and science fiction. And so you had a selection of books with these 4 themes, and you kind of pick the themes that are interesting to you. Sometimes it'll say a genre, sometimes not, and I love it. I mentioned this in the last video, but I can get so hyper-focused on one genre, like a really specific genre. Like I'm only interested in science fiction by this one Chinese author, and that's it for 6 months, you know. But actually getting a different book each month forced me out of those comfort zones, and I read genres that I wouldn't usually pick up, and stuff that like genres that I just kind of assumed I didn't like based on my preconceptions of them, and I read some books that just absolutely blew me away, and new books as well. And I don't know where the line with like snobbishness is, which I don't think I'm generally not a snobby person. I always say I don't do guilty pleasures, you know. I think just enjoy things for the sake of enjoying them, and I'm the first one to defend enjoying something that happens to be popular and not criticising people for that. But I think when it comes to books, there might be like a little inherent bit of snobbishness in that I've always preferred classic fiction, classic sci-fi and horror, and this made me read new authors as well. And because I enjoy so much classic fiction, this was a really good way of introducing me to new female authors. So it was just brilliant. And tragically, they have closed down. So they sent this came in email form as well, but they always send a little letter with your book, and this one came with the last one. Hello, it's with the heaviest of hearts that we write this final How Novel note to you. We've had the best time sending our mystery books to you and your fellow subscribers, and we are very sorry we're no longer able to. We would like to thank you for your incredible support. This particular journey may be at an end, but we hope the spirit of How Novel lives on. For one last time, happy reading, the How Novel team. I was just going to say, I'm not surprised that a small business of this nature, I mean selling mystery books, it was a very affordable subscription. That was one of the nice things about it as a consumer, but from a business perspective, an independent bookseller, it's not very expensive, cost of living crisis, big corporations like Amazon killing off small businesses, death of the high street, all of these things understandably would contribute to businesses like this struggling, and I just think it's such a shame, especially because I was reading recently that youth reading is up, more young people than ever, more children than ever are reading, you know, for pleasure, which is just so excellent. Okay, I'm going to quickly put a jumper on, and then I'm going to get some of my favourite books that I've had through How Novel to kind of show you the sort of diversity and just gush about books that I really like for a minute. In a jumper. If I can get out of here without bringing the whole thing. It did come down on my head at the end of the last video, so I have a cherryade down here that I'm absolutely petrified of spilling. Now, some of these I read quite a while ago, so forgive me if I don't 100%. This is also not like I've loved so many books from How Novel. This is just like a selection of my faves. There's others that I loved to death as well. Okay, so we have Kate Nunn, The Silk House. So this takes place in a small English village across multiple times. It takes place in the 1700s and in the modern day, and is essentially the story of a woman going to this girls' boarding school, looking after the girls, and sort of unravelling the secret that took place in the house. It's gorgeous, it's a little dark, it's intriguing. There's a little hint in the not over-the-top way of girl power, of, you know, a story of a woman in the 1700s embarking on a career path that was very much for men. And it's just wonderful. It's just lovely. I really, really liked it. How Much of These Hills is Gold? You probably already have heard of this one if you are good at keeping up with modern books. Sipam Zhang. Oh my gosh, this book moved me to tears. And I mean, to be fair, I cry pretty easily at many things. TV, movies, books, the credits of a video game once it's over. Okay, I'm a big crier, it doesn't mean that much. But I'm telling you, you'd have a heart of stone not to be moved by this book. It's gorgeous. It's set in Gold Rush America, the American West, and it does the most amazing job of showing how meaningful, how much it means, this location means to the siblings that this book is following, and how important it is to them without the romanticizing that you often get with the American West. It's very clear on the horrible reality of that time. This isn't a spoiler, this is on the blurb, this is the very beginning of the book. It opens with the death of their father and these two children striking out on their own in the American West. It is brutal, it's beautiful, it's so much. It's kind of devastating. You will be absolutely gripped. This is one where you don't put it down. You keep turning the page instead of going to sleep. I promise. This is another one again where I kind of looked at it and I was like, Wild West, coming of age sort of stories. This isn't really my kind of thing. I was so wrong. It's phenomenal. The Extinction Trials by A.G. Riddle. Again, when I got this and read the blurb, I was like, kind of just sounds like from the title and the description, kind of just sounds like it's going to be the Maze Runner books, which I really enjoyed. Again, cried during the second book. It got me. I really enjoyed that series, but I've read it, you know, and I was like, this sounds... again, I was so wrong. I now, at the age I am, much, much prefer this. This felt like dystopian fiction of that kind of style, you know, sort of the Hunger Gamesy Maze Runner kind of style, but for adults, for a more mature audience. If, like me, when you were younger, you read those kind of books, those sort of young adult kind of dystopian novels, this was a brilliant, like, again, just more sort of mature version. It has that sort of like shock twist factor, this unraveling mystery to it. The characters are adults, you know, they're older, they're grown-ups, they're not like teenagers, so it's easier as you get older to identify with them. But it's just such a brilliant story. Again, I was just absolutely gripped. I love sci-fi, I love dystopian sci-fi. I just find it, I don't know, dystopian fiction is so interesting because it provides an amazing platform to criticize modern society, essentially, in a where is this leading kind of thing. And it's one of those ones that had like an oh my god, that's what's happening kind of moment, which I always like. It's fun to have a twist. That is a really fun one. Definitely if you enjoyed stuff like The Maze Runner, this is kind of like the sort of grown-ups version. Not that you can't read young adult fiction as a grown-up, very much think that is the case. Lots of the stuff I like to read is young adult. You get to a certain point where you stop identifying with coming-of-age characters because you are a grown-up, and it's really nice to read that kind of fiction from an older perspective. So it's, yeah, brilliant. Love it. Knock on wood. Not spilt this yet. Oh, The City in the Middle of the Night by Charlie Jane Anders. Oh, I was so sad this was over. I was just... It's one of those ones where the real story, the real arc is about the characters, in particular the one main protagonist. It's an emotional journey. So you don't get everything tied up in a bow, they all live happily ever after. You know, you don't get all the problems fixed and everything solved at the end. So I was just like, I so badly want more. I could have, like, if it was twice as long, I'd have been happy. I enjoyed this so much. Again, dystopian sci-fi. Kind of had 2 dystopian sci-fi in a row. So this is an alternate planet in the future, like a colony planet, human colony planet. But it deals with, as all good dystopian sci-fi does, it deals with very prescient themes. There are all these conflicting ideologies around let the past be the past from the people who are kind of the historic oppressors, and some groups maybe overly clinging to their roots, and at the whole time we're kind of fighting this sort of human war. There's an environmental concern sort of being overlooked. It's very prescient. And the characters are so beautifully written. The relationships between the characters are so real in that they're so... they just beautifully highlight the flaws. And again, it's a young protagonist, and just when you're young and in love and you completely idolize someone and that slowly falls apart as you get to know a person and people grow and change... It does it so incredibly well. Cannot recommend enough. Last one from my small pile, because otherwise I'll go on forever. We have Finders Keepers by Sabine Durant. This is a lovely... It sort of presents as a very slice of life drama. Again, something I would instinctively recoil from, you know? The pacing is wonderful. The characters, you are so invested in the main character from whose perspective it's written. And yet, as an outside observer, you see the flaws in her that she herself doesn't notice. And that kind of changes how you view her view of the world and the people around her. And it's I guess you describe it as a psychological thriller. Kind of, I don't know if I'm describing this particularly well. I would call it sort of a slice of life kind of thriller, in that it's, you know, it's very much an everyday person, and this is a very isolated character, but it's, you know, an everyday person and the sort of social situations and uncomfortable situations that we all deal with in our everyday lives, but with something sinister, sort of slowly pressing, you know, slowly bubbling further to the top as you go on. That was my little slice of recommendations. Again, I have had others that I have enjoyed so much as well, but we got more new books to open. So okay, I have this is my last, this one I showed you earlier, this is my last official month. This is the April book. Cry. Because they were going out of business, they were selling their other, you know, their sort of stock really cheap. They were going for £2.50. So I bought 6. If I stick with reading one a month, then that's 7 months to tide me over now that it's over, you know? You get me. Okay, so this April book then I went for funny, maths, Cambridge and science fiction. And yes, there's definitely an element of comfort zone there, because books about... As much as I was terrible at maths, I did maths A-level, which I barely got through, and only because my sweet grandparents paid for me to have a maths tutor. But I find the idea of maths, the kind of theory around it, fascinating, and I really like sci-fi, that kind of hard sci-fi that involves sort of slightly more realistic maths and science. I always really like that. So this is definitely a comfort zone kind of pick for me. So it'd be interesting to see what sort of thing this is. The Humans by Matt Haig. There's no place like home. Or is there? After an incident one wet Friday night where he is found walking naked through the streets of Cambridge, Professor Andrew Martin is not feeling quite himself. Food sickens him, clothes confound him. Even his loving wife and teenage son are repulsive to him. He feels lost amongst an alien species and hates everyone on the planet. Everyone except Newton, and he's a dog. Who is he really? And what could make someone change their mind about the human race? Ooh, interesting. I knew Matt Haig from somewhere. He wrote A Boy Called Christmas. I think this is going to be quite a nice light one for me. This might be one to bring on holiday with me, actually, because it's quite clearly from the responses and stuff leans into the comedy. And a comedy sci-fi is just like nice. It feels like nice, easy reading to me. It's nice, simple for me to process. So that was my last official month. So now we get into books from the backlog that I just picked up, stuff that I hadn't got from them before. So this is going to be a little bit more intriguing. So this one we have ambition, rivalry, secret, and tension, which sounds a little bit more stressful. Oh, sometimes, do you know what, it might sound kind of weird. Sometimes the books that are a bit more intense and stressful, I find almost more comforting, because those really take you out of your own life. Oh, I just had to go and grab a new battery. Getting in and out of here is very precarious. I can't remember if I finished this thought before the battery died, but I was saying, yeah, sometimes I find the sort of intense, maybe a bit more stressful stuff, like a bit more relaxing, in that it just takes you out of your own life a little bit more. The Liars by Naomi Joy. Two women, one deadly secret. A rivalry that could destroy them. Ava Wells is perfect. She has the boyfriend, the career, the looks. What a mood. One night changes everything and her life suddenly isn't so seamless. Jade Fernley is ambitious. She's worked hard to get where she is, and she's not about to let Ava take the job she rightly deserves. She's not going to let one mistake ruin everything. Both women share the secret of what happened that night. Will one of them crumble, or will it destroy them both? Intriguing. So another thriller. I might have chosen mostly stressful options. Yeah, now we have Gunpoint, All-Nighter, Roller Coaster, and Terror. Maybe I was just in one of those moods when I ordered the books. Don't You Cry by Cass Green. One stolen baby, two desperate strangers, one night of terror. Oh gosh. When Nina almost dies during a disastrous blind date, geez, that is disastrous. Her life is saved by a waitress called Angel. But later that evening, Nina is surprised by a knock on the door. It's Angel, and she's pointing a gun at her. Wow, so this is like a, the whole story takes place over one night kind of situation. That is exciting. I already quite want to start this one. This sounds very page-turny. I was about to instinctively kind of flick through the pages. Don't do that, because then you're going to see a spoiler. Stupid. Okay, family, historical, witchcraft, and risk. This sounds not as intense as the other ones that I've gotten so far. The Familiars by Stacey Halls. In a time of suspicion and accusation, to be a woman is the greatest risk of all. So this is a witchcraft era story. Fleetwood Shuttleworth is 17 years old, married and pregnant for the 4th time. She still has no living child. She crosses paths by chance with Alice Gray, a young midwife, who promises to help her give birth to a healthy baby. When Alice is drawn into the witchcraft accusations that are sweeping the Northwest, Fleetwood risks everything by trying to help her. Oh, the legendary Pendle witch trials are approaching. Interesting. Should be some fun historical context there. It'll sound a little bit stressful, but not as bad as the other ones. Imprisoned, brainwashed, daughter, thriller. Another stressful thriller. Isn't it funny how in reaction to trying to broaden my genre horizons, I've picked so many of the same genre. I think it's because I just wouldn't read thrillers before. I wouldn't go and seek out a thriller in a bookshop. I'm sort of getting them where I can. Okay, Mother Loves Me, Abby Davies. She should be keeping you safe, but she's keeping you prisoner. Oh gosh. Mirabelle's mother loves her. She's her little doll. Mother dresses her, paints her face, and plats her hair. As Mirabelle grows, the dresses no longer fit quite as well, the face paint no longer looks quite so pretty, and Mother isn't happy. On Mirabelle's 13th birthday, Mother arrives home with a present. A new sister, 5-year-old Clarabelle, whom Mother has rescued from the outside world. Sounds stressful, sounds claustrophobic. Another psychological thriller. It kind of reminds me of, what was the movie called? Run? I think it was Run, which was again a sort of a slightly captive mother-daughter kind of thriller. Very exciting. Oh my gosh, there's only 2 left and then our novel is over for us. Well, it's not over until the books are done, but still. Ooh, okay. Wedding, Lies, Danger, and Finite. The Catch by T.M. Logan. She says he's perfect. I know he's lying. He caught me watching and our eyes met. That was when it hit me. There was something not quite right about my daughter's new boyfriend. Ed finally meets his daughter's boyfriend for the first time. Smart, successful, and handsome, Ryan appears to be a real catch. Then Abby announces their plan to get married. There's just one problem. Ed thinks Ryan is lying to them. Ooh, exciting. Sounds a bit tense again. So this is essentially a father's race to uncover whatever secrets this chap is hiding before his daughter marries him. So, ooh, another exciting, intriguing one. Sounds like it's going to be upsetting. Sorry, I just got like a little hint of new book smell and I had to give it a sniff. I love that smell. Do you love that smell? Gulag. Love. It's going to be another hard one. Another hard hitter. Gulag, love, survival, historical. It's like, if it does feel a bit like I'm trying to emotionally damage myself with this selection of books, I promise I'm okay. Silkas Journey by Heather Morris. Oh, sequel to The Tattooist of Auschwitz. Oh no, it's based on a true story as well. Silke Klein is just 16 years old when she is taken to Auschwitz. The commandant notices her long beautiful hair and forces her separation from the other women prisoners. Silke learns quickly that power, even unwillingly given, equals survival. After liberation, Silke is charged as a collaborator by the Russians and sent to a desolate, brutal prison camp in Siberia. Innocent but imprisoned once again, Silke faces challenges both new and horribly familiar. But when she meets a man called Alexander, Silke finds that despite everything, there's room in her heart for love. Well, this is going to make me cry. Sounds devastating but inspiring. I'm wondering, I mean, I've got so many books to get through that I've got time to find and read The Tattooist of Auschwitz first. I'm wondering if that would be worth doing. Sounds emotionally hard-hitting, emotionally devastating. It's always worse when it's based on a true story. But story of survival and love, so at least it should have its uplifting moments. There we go. Those are all my my last How novel books. I'm genuinely sad that it's come to an end. It was just a really great experience. Like I say, there were so many books from it that I just really enjoyed that I would never have found or heard about or picked out on my own. So I'm really grateful that it was a thing while it lasted. I have 7 more to enjoy from them, so that's good. This will be the last video before I shoot off to Italy for my first real holiday. So excited. I'm going to try and bring my camera, get some nice little Italy footage, and I'll see you with that when I get back. I can't wait. I'm really excited. If you enjoyed this video, do let me know. Leave your thoughts and book recommendations, if you would be so kind, in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, do consider subscribing. You don't want to miss that lovely shiny Italy footage. We've got Italy coming up. I got a story time coming up where I'm gonna rag on a real poo face. It's gonna be great. Have yourselves a very lovely week, and I will see you really soon.